السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله بالهدى ودين الحق يرسله. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. قال النبي محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم: المرء مع من أحب، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الله رب محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، نحن عباد محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ذويه وآله أبد الدهور وكرما. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected ulama kiram, elders and brothers, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has blessed us with this day again in order to perform the obligatory salah on the day about which Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam stated that send more and more salawat upon me on Fridays, as the salawat on Fridays are witnessed. Sahaba Karam raised this question: Ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, what about the salawat we recite upon you after you leave this world? Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam responded in such a manner: Inna Allah harrama ala al-ard an ta'kula ajsad al-anbiya. Indeed, Allah has prohibited the earth to consume the bodies of the prophets. فَنَبِيُّ hayyun. Thus, the prophets of Allah, they are physically alive in their graves, yurzaq, and they are being given rizq as well. So for the question that what about the salawat after you leave this world, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how beautifully Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained that Allah has prohibited the earth to consume the bodies of the prophets. That means the bodies of the prophets of Allah is not like the bodies of the ordinary people. Even the soil respects the bodies of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and of the other prophets of Allah. فَنَبِيُّ hayyun, though they tasted the death, but after tasting the death, Allah has given them a physical life to live in the graves physically. And where he stated, Al-Anbiya ahya'un fi quburihim yusallun, the prophets of Allah, they are physically alive in their graves and they offer prayer as well. For a person to offer the prayer, he should have a body. So when Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, the prophets of Allah are alive and praying in their graves, that means Allah has kept their bodies intact and they can do ibadah the day they want by the will of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not stop here. He further stated, فَنَبِيُّ hayyun, then yurzaq. They are physically alive and they are being given the rizq as well. Do not assume the prophets of Allah as ordinary people. Allah blesses them with rizq as well in their graves. Allah. So from this answer it is clear, O my Sahaba, whatever the salawat and salam you recite upon me is presented to me. I am aware of that whilst in this dunya. After I leave this world, I will be aware of your salawat and salam. Do not assume that I won't be listening. No, I will be listening. Not only me, all the prophets of Allah are being given with this excellence. Allah. So, may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala accept our gathering and our prayers, our salawat, which we recite especially on Fridays by the wasila of Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and make this as a mean for our forgiveness by the shafaat of Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. My dear brothers, today we find many types of calamities falling upon us. We see Muslims all over the world are suffering today, and this is a fact. If we take even Sri Lanka, we are sometimes suffering in form of barakah in rizq, sometimes in form of some calamities, some balaa and museebah, sometimes in form of illness, and this is common. We see this everywhere. Have we ever pondered on this, that what could be the reasons for this? Why the calamities, why the balaa and museebah are coming to us? Why we get disturbance in our rizq? Why do we get such illness where a person has to suffer for a long time? As per the hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some illness, some bala are given to a person in order to raise his darajah, which is in the sight of Allah Ta'ala. The mafhum of the hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Allah wants a servant of him to reach the status which is in the sight of Allah, a person has a darajah in the sight of Allah, but that person could not reach that darajah through his good deeds. Allah wanted him to reach that station, to reach that maqam which is in the sight of Allah, but he could not reach due to lack of deeds. Allah, in order to make him reach that status, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated that Allah will put him into troubles. Sometimes troubles in form of illness, sometimes by taking his wealth or taking barakah on his wealth, sometimes by taking his children away, giving death to his children, by giving illness to him. In few ways Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tests him, and Allah also gives him the sabr for what Allah gave. For the calamity what Allah gave, Allah gives him sabr as well. For the wealth which Allah took away from him, or the decrement in the rizq, for that also Allah gives him the patience. And if his children, a child has been taken away, even for that Allah will give him sabr. And as per the hadith, by the barakah of that sabr which is given by Allah, Allah will make him reach that station which is in the sight of Allah. So sometimes, if we get calamities, if we are in troubles, if we are in musibah, if we get any illness, if there is form of decrement in our rizq, we should not take it as musibat upon us. That can be Allah wanted us to reach the status which is in the sight of Allah. So if a pious person, when he gets these calamities, that means it is clear Allah wants him to elevate, Allah wants his status to be elevated further. And there are some kinds of musibah, some kinds of calamities which are falling upon us due to our own sins. When we disobey Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we fall into calamities. When we disobey Rasul of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we get some kind of difficulties, some kind of illness that is due to our own evil deeds. Allah has stated in the Holy Quran, مَا أَصَابَكَ مِنْ حَسَنَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Whatever you get good for you, it is from Allah. وَمَا أَصَابَكَ مِنْ سَيِّئَةٍ فَمِنْ نَفْسِكَ. And if you find any calamities, it is because of your own evil deeds. Allah. Because of yourself, you are getting the calamities upon you. So there are many ways as recorded in the hadith. Sometimes the calamities fall upon us due to our sins, and sometimes Allah is testing us and Allah is giving us patience, and through that patience Allah is elevating our status. Allah. But these types of calamities which we get due to our evil deeds, what are those? Let us analyze the fact. Where are we standing today in this society? Allah has stated in the Holy Quran, وَعْبُدُوا worship Allah, وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Do not associate anyone with Allah in worshipping. Respecting is different, worshipping is different. If I respect you, it doesn't mean I worship you. If I respect a Nabi of Allah, it doesn't mean I worship him. There are two different things. Worship is totally different, respecting is totally different. Allah stated, worship Allah alone, do not associate partners with him in worshipping. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And be good, be kind towards your parents. A thing to ponder, along with worshipping Allah, Allah wants us to respect our parents. He mentioned this along with the worshipping of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. O people, worship Allah, respect your parents. Worship Allah, be kind towards them. So Allah has given such importance to the respect of the parents that He has recorded about this commandment after talking about His worship. Subhanallah. We are to ponder on this. How much are we into this? Today we see a young person, he is roaming with his friends more than spending time with his parents. And this is a fact. When you ask him, why don't you spare your time with your parents, your grandparents? They have become old. Always they wanted us to bring something. They wanted us to sit with them. We have our own work. We have our own business. We have our friends for us to roam. Mother and father are being worried at late night, if it's 10 or 11 past, my child has not returned home. But that youngster, he doesn't bother about this fact. He is engrossed in roaming with his friends. Your parents are worried that today is the 31st night of December. People are engaged in firing the crackers, that is, firing your own wealth. You purchase something and you put into fire, you are firing your own money. Your parents are worried that something might happen to my son. There can be a calamity upon my daughter. They may misuse. They may fire in such a manner which may come back to them. They are worried for you. But we people, least to bother. Let them think, let us do our own work. Our parents, when they are in difficulty, when they feel bored, they will call us, oh my son, come and sit with me. I feel bored. I want to talk to you a little. We think it's waste of time to sit with them because they will bring all their old stories, what they did in 1940s, in 1960s, 1970s. What are we to do with that? We are the generation of the new 21st century. What are we to do with the old matters? So we take it as a burden. My dear brothers, and especially my dear youngsters, we should have this in our thoughts, that Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, "Hal tunsarun wa turzaqun illa bidu'afaikum." The risk what you get from Allah and the victory which Allah gives you, this is because of the weak and elderly people amongst you. So if there are weak and elderly people, for example, a person of 65 years, 70 years, 75 years, 80 years, don't take them as burden. If they are living in your home, such as your grandparents, do not ever think they are burden for you. Because Allah's Habib Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, it is due to these weak people, due to these elderly people, Allah is giving you the risk and Allah is giving you the victory. So they are the sabab, they are the mean for barakah in our risk. Then how come we disrespect them, we ignore them? That means we are ignoring our own risk. If we ignore them, we are ignoring the victory which is given by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to us. So by disrespecting in such manners that not listening to them, not fulfilling their promises, whenever they need us, we ignore them, which may hurt them. That hurt feeling of a parent, mother or father, it is such severe that there is anger of Allah on the anger of the father. Allah. But unfortunately, our society is lacking in this. We have totally different thoughts. We have totally invented thoughts in our minds. Today, when our parents become old, we can see, especially in the Western countries and even in Sri Lanka it is found now, they send them to the old age homes. Like the orphanage, for children, parents are being sent to old age homes. Why? This son, this daughter, who was taken care by parents from his childhood or from her childhood, from every aspect, winter, summer, terrible moments, hard moments, bearing all those, they did not leave their children with another person. Even if they had shortage in their risk, they did feed the children first before they took for themselves. Today when this child got money with him, he is sending his own parents to the old age home. Why? I am not able to take care of them. They are not able to take care of their own parents at that age where they need a person to assist them. And by sending to the old age homes, who is taking care? The children of other parents? When the children of other parents can take care of your parents, why can't you take care of your own parents? Is there a jinn who is taking care of your parents there in the old age? Is there any angel taking care? Your own, the children of the other parents are taking care. What a shame on you. Your parents are taken care by the children of other parents, but you are not able to visit them to take care of them. This is what's happening today in this society. So in this way, we make our parents feel bad. They get hurt with this, that for a son whom I strive since my young age until now, today when I am in need, he has sent me away. That hurt feeling of the parent mother or father will take you far away from the rahmat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. We may think we have wealth, we have a big family, we have big mansions, you may have everything, but you won't find the satisfaction in your heart. You won't find the contentment in your heart. Money is not everything. Huge mansions are not everything. Your children are not everything. Ponder on this fact. Your children will act the same with you what you act with your parents today. That time you will realize, when your children makes you away from them, when your children will tell them, Dada, you are too old, we are unable to take care of you, can we send you to the old age? That time you will feel what we did with our parents was very wrong. My dear brothers and my dear youngsters, there are many reasons for the calamities to fall upon us. This is one of the reasons. When Allah has stated about the respect of the parents, immediately after when He said about worshipping Allah, such importance given to this, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. If we ignore that, can we expect the rahmat from Allah or the azab from Allah? The other way, the other reason for us to be within the calamities is disrespecting the symbols of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Allah has stated in the Holy Quran, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. The one who respects the symbols of Allah, the signs of Allah, then it is from the taqwa of the heart. Such an importance given to respect the symbols of Allah. What are the symbols of Allah? Inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. Min sha'airillah. Allah has stated, indeed the Mount Safa and the Mount Marwa, which is in Makkah al-Mukarram, are among the symbols of Allah. Thus, respect those places. Allah Ta'ala stated about the animal which we sacrifice for the Qurban, for Udhiyah, during the Hajj festival. Allah says about that animal, this is also sha'air of Allah. This is also among the symbol of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. What is Safa and Marwa? Simply a mountain? No. Though it is a mountain, a small mountain, stones, but not ordinary. That is the place where a mother of a Nabi of Allah, Sayyida Hajara radiallahu ta'ala anha, ran between these two mountains. Allah liked her action so much that He made it a part of our Hajj and of our Umrah. Until you complete running between Safa and Marwa, you have not completed your Hajj, neither your Umrah. A place which has a connection with a mother of a Nabi, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wassalam. What is Hajarul Aswad? Again a symbol of Allah. What is that? A stone from Jannah which was respected by Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam as an education for the Ummah. So if a person disrespects Safa and Marwa, what are you going to call him? You will obviously blame him that you are disrespecting a thing which Allah has mentioned about that it is symbol of Allah. Thus no one will disrespect the Mount Safa and Marwa. If a person, instead of kissing Hajar al-Aswad, if he spits towards Hajar al-Aswad, you will call him a mad person. The person who is going away from the respect of those things which are made as symbols of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. If a person spits towards the holy Kaaba, not directly facing the Kaaba, in front of Kaaba, even while being in Colombo, About 6,000 kilometers away from Makkah Al Mukarramah we are. A person living in Australia, about 12, 13, 14,000 kilometers away from Makkah Al Mukarramah, even if he speaks from that place, from Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, or any city of Australia, or even far, the country which is after Australia, that is New Zealand, if he speaks from there towards the Kaaba, not in front of the Kaaba, towards the Kaaba, this is also a disrespect towards the Kaaba. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a person who was doing imamat, who was conducting salah. He stopped him by conducting salah because he had spat towards the holy Kaaba. So spitting towards the holy Kaaba, even if you are away from the Kaaba, is an act which is disrespectful towards the symbol of Allah. So if a person does these acts, you will surely not like him. You will surely hate him. You will try to advise him first that what you are doing is wrong. If he understands, well and good. And if he is adamant, let me do my own way. These are simply stones. These are simply mountains. If they even disrespect that animal which has been slaughtered in the name of Allah, because the Qurban, what we make, Allah has stated, this is also a sign of Allah. So if a person disrespects that animal which has been already slaughtered, still you are going against the command of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My dear brothers, an animal which has been already slaughtered, that is a dead animal, still you are not supposed to disrespect that animal. You are to give the meat of that animal only to the Muslims. If you have non-Muslim friends, your neighbors, you can buy extra meat and give it to them, but that particular animal, that particular meat which is a symbol of Allah, such a respect is given that you should give only to the Muslims. Allahu Akbar. These are the things to ponder. When those things which are connected towards the prophets of Allah, which are connected towards the awliya Allah, such as Sayyidah Hajara radiyallahu ta'ala, and not only that, a Muslim sacrificing an animal, an ordinary Muslim sacrificing an animal in the name of Allah, that is also to be respected. The thing which are connected to we Muslims, that is also to be respected. And if we don't respect, if we disrespect, we are asking for the trouble. We may get the calamities, museebah, balaa. Just ponder. Those things which have connection with the pious servants of Allah. The holy Kaaba, being 10,000 miles away, you are not supposed to spit towards the Kaaba. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, hadith of Sunan Ibn Majah, one of the Sihah Sitta. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by looking at the holy Kaaba, mentioned few words. O holy Kaaba, you are respected. You are honored. There is a respect for you. There is a maqam for you. But O holy Kaaba, the wali of Allah has more respect in the sight of Allah than you. Allah. There is more respect for a friend of Allah in the sight of Allah than the holy Kaaba. When we are not supposed to disrespect the holy Kaaba even by being at a distance of 15,000 miles, how are we to disrespect the wali of Allah who is resting in our city? How are we to talk ill about that person who is higher in status than the holy Kaaba? And who stated? Me? You? Our ulama? No! Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. That the maqam of awliya, the heart of a wali of Allah, is more exalted in the sight of Allah than of the holy Kaaba. Today, we find calamities falling upon us. Have we ever pondered? We find people amongst us today who disrespects the friends of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. When we talk about their excellence, recorded in the Holy Quran, Allah, inna awliya Allah. Allah, when He speaks about His awliya, He says, beware! Beware! Allah, be careful. What I am going to mention is about my friends. Be careful. The first word Allah. Then Allah stated, inna awliya Allah. Indeed, for the friends of Allah, la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. They have no fear, nor they grieve for any past. Before praising the friends of Allah, Allah stated, beware, be careful. Whenever you talk about my friends, take hold of your tongue. Take hold of your heart even. Because a wali of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala knew what is hidden in your heart. When you visit a friend of Allah, take care of your heart as well. Do not have bad thoughts about a wali of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Why Allah Ta'ala stated as recorded in Bukhari, the one who talks against, speaks against my awliya, let him come for a war with Allah subhanahu. Are we able to fight with Allah? That means talking ill about friends of Allah is danger for the Iman. My dear brothers, the reason for the calamities falling upon us is, today we find such disrespect towards the awliya and even towards their resting places, that people destroy those places by making use of even bulldozers. Allah, they should ponder on this. These are the people loved by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And those who are loved by Allah, if you disrespect them, you are asking for the trouble. It's danger for your Iman. And in that danger, you will be having calamities as well. My dear brothers, respecting parents is a must. Disrespecting parents is to ask for troubles, ask for calamities. Respecting the symbols of Allah is a must. Disrespecting those is again asking for the calamities. And those symbols of Allah which are to be respected, which are connected to the pious servant of Allah, then what about the respect of the awliya? If we disrespect them, it's danger for our Iman. My dear brothers, very soon we will be in the month of Rabi'ul Akhir, which is connected to Sayyiduna Ghawthul Azam, Qutbul Aqtab, Fardul Afrad, Ghawthul Aghawat, Ghawthul Aghawat, Muhyiddin Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, the leader of awliya. Not only Sayyiduna Ghawthul Azam, we respect all the awliya of Allah during their respective days. The reason for respecting them, the reason for commemorating their dates, the reason for mentioning their incidents is because Allah has praised them in the Quran. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has praised them in the ahadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has stated, if you disrespect them, I am inviting you for a war with me. Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, ittaqu firasat al-mu'min fa innahu yanzuru bi nurillah. Be careful when you stand by a wali of Allah, because he looks at you by the nur of Allah. He knew what is hidden in your heart. He knew what is in your thoughts. So be careful. This is the reason we talk about these friends of Allah. And those who don't want to commemorate, let them do their work. But they should not come to stop those people who commemorate the urus of awliya, who talk about the karamat, the miracles of the awliya Allah. They should not come to stop. You are not satisfied, you don't do. But those who are doing it, don't come to say this is shirk, this is bid'ah, this is haram. By doing this, you are asking for a war with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. By mixing worship and respect together, by misquoting the word respect as worship, you are asking for trouble, you are asking for a war with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That means your iman is in danger. So my dear brothers, my dear children, through social media, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through emails, you may find many things. This is shirk, this is bid'ah, this is haram. Do not talk about Ghawsul Azam, do not celebrate their hours, you will receive many things. So I inform you in advance, be careful. If you disrespect them by just that person, that friend of you is telling, you are asking for the trouble. Your iman is going to be in danger. You should have this thought. When Allah has praised His awliya, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has praised awliya, when Sahaba has spoken about awliya, that is why we found in hadith. The reason we find in hadith because Sahaba spoke about awliya, Muhaddithin spoke about awliya. So we are also doing the same thing. Thus, we are following the Quran, following the hadith, following Sahaba, following Aimma, following Muhaddithin, following Mufassirin, by praising the friends of Allah, by respecting the friends of Allah. So you just make your iman firm. Don't get into their traps. This is why we are falling into calamities by disrespecting the awliya. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant all of us the tawfiq to be in respect, to be in love, the way Allah wanted us to love His awliya. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.